Good afternoon, Speed Gaming. Hope you all are having a fun afternoon. And if not, we will try and do something about that. We have another matchup of the Swiss round with Caleb versus Rumblefish. This is a battle for one last chance to keep things alive. The winner of this advances to the last chance qualifier. The other, well, they had 5 weeks of fun, and that'll be all for this time around. I'm Trenton, joined today by Twitch and Chilled. How are you today?
I'm doing alright.
Well, it is a battle of the 1 and 3s trying to keep alive for one more week, and we will soon see them getting started. What do you notice with their party choices?
I've noticed that Rumblefish likes to run a lot of red. Caleb had mentioned earlier today that he was going to do this too.
No white mages. Do you think that's going to play a factor?
Only if the black magic is bad in the beginning, then they might switch. Or one of them might switch over. You know, early fade.
It's always interesting if you get that level 1 fade. I think only about 1 out of 4 people right now are actually willing to see level 1 fade and make the reroll. But it does happen. Not all that often. Live and let die, I guess, is what the order will be for Rumblefish once that's going.
Right. Caleb's black mage is named Mom because Rumblefish had requested his black mage be named for his mom in honor of Mother's Day.
Oh, there you go.
So, happy Mother's Day
He's
to
technically
all
correct.
of the mothers.
He's technically correct, and that's the best kind of correct, is what we say. White Magic has got the level 2, the life 2 at level 1. That's fantastic. But I actually would check the Black Magic shop before learning it. Ooh, okay, so all we have on the Black Magic side for killing anything right now is Rub. That'd be good enough for Garland, but that ain't killing anything else really right now.
Yeah, but Temper's nice.
Temper is a great long run spell. It just doesn't really help you in the very early game.
Right, same with Life 2. It's gonna be a...
Life 2 is always useful.
Hopefully you're not wiping out too much early on.
Right, we got some imps. This is a case where having a weapon in the hand of your knight and your red mages can really make a difference. So I like that Caleb picked up the rapiers and has those to be able to deal some damage, because he's actually going to have the option of exploring Temple of Fiends. Rumblefish is kind of forced into going straight for Garland.
Caleb pick up a save item?
Don't think we had one cheap enough. But these imps will be enough to get level 2, which is definitely a useful thing. And Rumblefish has Garland down. Tail is the item from the king. And Adamant comes from Sarah.
At least we'll be able to hit up the dwarf cave and get one check out of the way.
Chat wants to attack the weapons store clerk and steal all the good stuff. Soft 2, not Soft 2, Fog 2 was also for sale at level 1. Has the effect of boosting your armor, so it can be an immediate benefit, and instead of needing, say, in Biz 2 enough charges for your evade to actually go up and take a hit out. So what's Caleb hoping for here?
He's hoping for a strong and steady match.
I meant in the immediate sense. Here he is exploring Temple of Fiends that Rumblefish didn't get to.
Oh, I imagine he's looking for any sort of good weapons or lots of money.
2k gold, that's a functional amount of money. To buy you another spell or two. Gold bracelet's a great defensive find for Rumblefish. And now Caleb will get the rewards. So he got the full clear out of Temple of Fiends. Rumblefish only got Garland. That's a pretty nice little Matoya's cave in terms of giving us stuff. We got our first unrunnable formation.
Hopefully the Rurus don't have anything nasty stacked up.
I think that's gonna force a reset for Rumble.
Ooh.
Just doesn't have anything to kill these people with. He's tempering barehanded hits, which, even with temper, just don't go very far, because you're not boosting a lot to begin with.
I don't think he wants to make the run back to Matoya and wants to keep the money.
It's a tough spot to be in, because sometimes the reset is actually the faster option.
Right. Just no early save items is rough.
Well, he made the tempers work, and he's through the wolves. And now
Nice.
level 3. He still has no save items, so he's got to walk with no knight and a poisoned red mage to down. That's a rough walk, especially if he finds the unrunnable wolves again. He made it!
I like the use of the rub.
The thing about the single target insta-death is you want to stack as many casters of that as you can, so you have 3 party members who can use it. That's what you want. Thought for a second chat said stone touch him. No, stun, but yes, that's what chat said. They had stun. So they moved the gold bracelet in both cases to the red mage. Would you do that, or would you go ahead and stick it on the knight when you don't have anything better at the moment?
In this case, I'd probably leave it on the knight, but I'm also out of the tournament, so...
But what really matters is the friends we make along the way.
Oh, I agree. Actually-
Caleb doesn't mess with the wolves.
On the podcast, both Caleb and Rumblefish were talking about how they were just here for fun and enjoy the community.
A lot of stunning going on in this early game. Free sobs are great. Best price you can get on them. And the crystal from Matoya is going to send Rumblefish right back in the direction he came from. I didn't see...
You think he's gonna go back?
Oh, I think he has to. One, you gotta follow the chain in case it's a canoe or a ship. The other thing is I don't believe he got to Provoca, so probably some unfinished business and would like to do that.
Yeah, how do you feel about avoiding Provoca for the first part?
I'm not a fan of it, in particular because of 3 cities that it can be. It can be Elfland, which I want because it's 1/4 of the magic for the game. It can be Provoca, which is level 2 magic, and the pirates. It can also be Crescent Lake, which is another item. So there's at least 3 really good results. And then there's also the possibility it's one of the towns with the vendor item.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's risky to leave it unchecked early.
The slab will come from Matoya. So as we get the damage poison special from Caleb, it's a good time to mention one of the safety things our devs put into the game is that Canaria is always guaranteed to have 2 items for sale. It will always have pures for sale, and it will always have softs for sale. That way you can't be soft-locked by status attacks.
Unfortunately, it doesn't always guarantee to save item or healing items, and I've had some pretty rough seeds dealing with that.
Now that's one that can definitely push it for you. So level 4 for Rumblefish. Not getting the wolves that time has to look really welcoming when you can run away. Now, resetting out of ogres feels bad. They're a great source of experience in this very early game. Provoca does turn out to be Provoca, so this to me is the jackpot. Fire 2 and Ice 2.
Hey, now we got some power.
And lots of charges of that. Heal 3's at level 2 on the white magic side. That's going to be night learnable, which is also good news. We'll soon find out what the pirates have to offer. Didn't learn any black magic on the red mage side yet, though. That's okay, because one's all you need. The pirates are just really safe once that mode is enabled. They're not going to get a script that kills you, so then you just get 9 of the weakest enemies in the game.
And a free item. Relatively.
And it is the ship. So that just sped up all of our navigation. A wise move from Rumblefish to look for the vendor item, which I think was actually there based on the price tag I saw, but I didn't see what it actually was.
I didn't catch it.
I saw something really expensive in the last spot, but I could not tell what it was.
I missed it also.
We should get another look on Caleb's side. I'm amused by chat. Okay, let's see the item here. That's the floater for 10k. So that's pretty substantial.
Ooh.
So, I am not a fan of the Peninsula Power Grind overall. People who have heard me talk about it say I just don't see it as worth time. The value of that play has just gone up substantially when it's a question of trying to buy the floater.
Yeah, but you have the ship. You could always dive marsh, check out what's that, Elfland, and hope for some money and come back. It's not that long of a ride.
This is a case where I'd make sure I had 1 or 2 houses, go to Peninsula Power, and get the money.
That's
if it was any way possible. You could sell the gold bracelet for 5k, and as crazy as this may sound, I would do that, but only once I had the other 5k. No houses for sale here, though, so you're not going to be able to regen the magic, which is unfortunate. And Rumble didn't save first.
Boy.
This is a little bit of spell selection issue. Well, he doesn't have a weapon on the knight. You need a weapon on the knight and you need to temper instead. That's going to be more effective against the Tyro than your spell charges. I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to win this fight unless Rub works. He's trying the temper strats now. I'd stick with Rub. That's your best play here.
Agreed.
I don't disagree with his decision to leave either. He's not well set up to do this, so see if you can find something to change the equation. I'd actually even say go down to Crescent Lake, not Crescent Lake, Elfland, and see if it's Crescent Lake.
Right. Caleb's off to do a Peninsula Power Grind too.
See if his setup's any better. Well, he is set up better because he has swords.
Right.
He's got cabins so he can recover health, but not magic. Chat says Earth 1 for money. That's also a compelling argument. Giants with cremate, they're also usually a little high on the HP side. Instead of the spell charges, I'd rather see him throw the rubs out and go for RNG. If they don't work first turn, just reset. Try it on the next encounter.
Elfland is just Loopaloopa land.
And Arachnids have thunders, so that successfully made things even worse. He's got the
That makes you wanna dive Earth and or Swamp or Marsh.
Tyro hits back. Those teeth are sharp. That is not a Peninsula power tile at all. But it looks like Caleb is leaving. In that case, actually he should have killed that group. That's a pretty good non-Peninsula power group.
So both Rumblefish and Caleb get wiped out by Tyros, and they decide that they are going to pass on the POP grind.
Yeah. If you're not going to make that, and I can understand in both cases why they're not, now I'd go for the town check. Rumble already found that it's Lefane down south at Elfland, but you could still sail over to Melmond and potentially find Crescent Lake. You could also go south from there, get to Onrak, and possibly find Crescent Lake. The reason I prioritize that is because, hey, there's a chance it's the Mystic Key. And if it's the Mystic Key, probably getting enough money for that floater really easily. Rumblefish is now in a good area to hunt for ogres, which are going to be, generally speaking, your best source here.
You think he's going to get a few levels and then go back for a pop grind?
It's possible the additional spell charges would help, but I think the enemy encounters he's seen have been bad enough. He probably doesn't want to. If you had houses, it makes for a much better Peninsula power grind. That's actually my usual objection to it, is that I don't have a couple houses to restore magic charges. But, I called what I would have liked in that situation, which is, you've got the Tyro, fire off your rub spells. If it doesn't work the first round, just reset, try again. Otherwise, this isn't a horrible move on Rumblefish's side to just try and get the levels here. It'll be slower, but it's much safer, so for your time, you might actually come out better.
Meanwhile, Caleb went up to Matoya and picked up his money.
That's enough money that he's getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 6,000. If he sold the gold bracelet, and I understand why most people wouldn't do this, but that's the answer right now. He could have the floater, he could be getting the airship right at this moment, and you'd be able to buy gold bracelets later. Now, I fully understand why most people don't want to make that play, but I'm pointing out why that is a valid strategy. Heading over to dwarves now.
He'll pick up his crystal from the adamant and probably head back to Matoya.
The other noteworthy thing is that the floater's not going anywhere. So you talked about going and diving, say Marsh Cave. Well, that floater will still be there when you get back.
And you probably end up with a fistful of cash.
So what do you see as Rumblefish's options right now?
The world is mostly wide open for exploration. I don't disagree with trying to grind out for the floater because that makes it so much more faster, and we haven't seen much of what the sea encounters have for magic or unrunnables.
Seen a lot of sharks who aren't great for their gold. For gold, you'd much prefer the Kaizukus that we're not seeing. And Caleb is going to go over to Melmont. Let's see he does even before going back to Matoya. So this is a fascinating option with it being Melmont. Fun fact, my first round match, I made a lot of cash by taking the Zozo Melmont encounters because the first one was pirates. So there's a lot of money that could potentially be there. And not a good result with the Giants as Rumblefish went back to Peninsula Power. He didn't have a save there. So he really needs a cabin up there. He actually needs a couple because you need to save the levels after you get them.
It's unfortunate Caleb didn't go back for Matoya. He could have translated the slab while he was at Melmond.
I think with the knowledge of the floater, you're not worried about fetch quests right now. If you were looking for the floater, that would make tons of sense. I don't disagree. But just knowing that it's not how you get to the floater, yeah, I'd steer away from fetch quests for the moment. There's some undead, and the Fire 2 is going to be much more effective here than what you were seeing on Peninsula Power. Undead happen to be vulnerable to fire, so it's a good choice. I wonder if Caleb realizes he went to the northern ice cave dock, because he's walking back up to Berboka. And it's not a normal walk, so it's easy to be a little lost. Or did he get enough money along the way? Not quite, unless he sells that gold bracelet. He's close, though. Is he doing it? Is he doing it, Twitch?
He might be doing it. Wow.
He did it! I dare say veteran move. So this is a play, I credit Minochi, if not for discovering it, popularizing it. The idea of just going ahead and selling something, even if it's a high level thing, to get enough money to get you rolling, because now not only does Caleb have the floater, he's got a few heal potions, instead of just a bunch of money that's not doing any good right now.
Invest the money early, because it'll just accumulate later and you don't need it later.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time imagining that we're going to go to the Cardia Islands and not get back 5,000.
Oh, easily.
The crown is what we get from Lefane.
Maybe Rumblefish is sick of the fetch quests and is determined to get his floater now.
Alright, Chip's in a handy spot there for getting back where he wants to go. He's also got the tail, so he can do class change right away, which is extra reason to go up to the Cardia Islands right away. And Rumble has made the decision to sell the gold bracelet. Get the cabins, Rumble! He bought some heal potions instead. That's compelling, but saving your progress on the overworld is what I prioritize right now, is why I get the cabins.
That's not something I learned through my first match, is save all the time.
It's handy that this game is really conducive to that. In a lot of games, stopping to save costs you time, and basically in Final Fantasy 1 you gain time by saving all over the place.
Caleb's in the air at 23 minutes.
And it is Crescent Lake. Able to buy one house. And there's your gold bracelets, so you've got the money. They're easy to replace. For Invis 2, Ruse at level 6. Fast Nuke Quad X, so you're not going to be able to get a lot of that without class change.
Fortunately, they have the tail.
It's one of the hidden benefits to an early class change is we get the cube from the sages. When you go and explore these towns and you see the class change locked magic, you can go ahead and learn it long before you have spell charges. So. Here we go with Rumblefish, not far behind in getting the airship.
1 minute and 10 seconds as far as the airship goes. Rumblefish is a little bit further in his fetch quests.
Caleb, though, has covered new ground, finding out that Sarda has the Oxy Ale, and now seems to be headed up to those Cardia Islands. Astos has the herb. And here comes class change. We haven't really seen any equipment yet that depends on class change, but another hidden benefit is that you can go ahead and put that stuff on when you find it.
Yeah, no lugging around armor or anything.
So we've not seen Gaia yet, but we know that Rumble can get there. Because it could be potentially on-rack requiring the ship, or it could be Gaia Lefane once you can get to the airship. Well, there's the 5,600 gold I said it'd be hard not to find up here, and the ruby is one of our loose items. What does finding a loose ruby tell you?
When you have an airship, not much. Just some free chests. Relatively free.
Well, it does also move you closer to the key item count for bonus experience.
That too.
And it also takes away one of the unrequired items that could be at an incentive location. So the value of those incentive locations has gone up. The value of the Masamune is always high.
Nice. That's gotta feel good for Caleb. He's
6 minutes in at level 7, that's phenomenal.
had a bit of a misstep in his last match, missing out on the Maza for an hour.
Well, having it for basically an extra hour is going to make a lot of enemies easier to kill.
Yeah.
He's going to check the ruby at this point. I like it. The seed says you've got a ruby. Caleb says, okay, let's find out what that ruby turns into. There's no other way it leads to a potential advantage unless you check it.
Hey.
So what dungeon are you prioritizing next?
I feel I would go ordeals. No. In this case, if they don't have the canoe, I'd probably go to ice.
Alright, ice. Little high for their levels, but it does have the incentive item.
Where would you go?
Marsh Cave is a potential incentive. I'd really love to see the armory at Volcano when I'm early and need a lot of resources that I don't have right now. Plus the levels of Volcano are friendly. And with Masta, I'm pretty confident they're going to get high enough level to kill Carrie. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Caleb, though, needs to finish up the fetch quests first.
Right. So, neither Rumblefish or Caleb are very shy about going into Marsh. But some runners are. How do you feel about it?
I like to avoid a low level Marsh. The problem we often run into is the quick movement through the world leads you towards like a level 4 Marsh Cave dive. Well, everything's gonna kill you at level 4, especially with no ribbons, so anything being in Marsh is going to make for a nasty Marsh Cave. Creaming is going to make for a nasty Marsh Cave. It doesn't have to be damage, poison, or nuke. So
Speaking
I like
of Marsh,
levels.
Here we go.
Checking the north side first. Only 4 chests up here. But if you get something here your opponent doesn't, you're that much better off. And we're also looking at a situation where Canoe is very, very likely either here or Ice Cave. So either play makes a lot of sense. $13,000 gold there. That would have bought your floater easy.
Oh yeah.
Well, those bats are a little problematic, but usually your best bet is to leave them space whenever you can, so that ideally you want them to have 2 possible directions to go that are out of your way instead of just one. Opal Shield! How good is that?
I love me an Opal Shield. Gonna get a look at what the bottle holds.
That Opal Shield is tied for best absorb among shields. Resistances aren't as good as a Aegis Shield is, but it will resist lightning.
Do you run the Opal Shield out? Especially considering you don't have much else for equipment?
Yes, I would, especially if I'm counting on the Knight to tank, which I would be. Looking at this, I'm thinking Caleb is trying to intentionally drop the Black Mage, because I don't know why else he'd be in the front. Rumblefish finds the TNT. Hopefully it still works after being soggy. Yeah, and I 100% agree with what Caleb is doing here. He tried to walk the shield out. Marsh Cave said no. He says, okay, I'll move on. Zombies are the second encounter he sees with Ice 2. So, right now, this early, I'd reset, burn 2 encounters on the overworld, and go back in. Or leave. Either way.
Yeah, this is a rough Marsh Cave.
Eric has a ribbon.
I think he's making the right call to take off.
You don't want to waste a lot of time diving a place that you're not making progress in.
So all of the fetch quest items led to another fetch quest item, which ultimately led to an incentive or a ribbon.
Yeah. It was the incentive ribbon in the pool, but it's great to have a ribbon in Masa this early. That opens up a lot of potential for you. And is Rumble gonna make the play I suggested? Go to Volcano.
Looks like he is.
There. Volcano has several moderate EXP enemies, like the Agamas, the Hydras, the red Hydras as well. With Masa, you're able to kill a lot of the enemies you find here, and there's a whole lot of treasure available. Route to Virgins, I love it.
Oof, Earth Cave.
Well, look what that did for him, because now he's going to be able to put Masa on the Red Mage and Excalibur on the Knight. And this early, there's a lot of value in that. Later in the game, not as much, but kind of through, like, say, a Kraken or Tiamat, there's a lot of value there.
And they still don't have a great set of offensive spells, so relying more on muscle is alright.
There was a lot of money in this seed to repay you for selling that gold bracelet for Floater. I don't think either runner is regretting it now. A flame shield? Not as good as the opal shield, but it's a worthy find. If you don't have it. Team Vorpal has reason to be happy, and that will also work for the Red Wizards, so a good pickup there. That's good for the end game too. I love having a Red Wizard potentially with Saber and the Vorpal. That can definitely get you through a boss. That's a pretty rewarding armory also coming up with the Pro Ring.
Yeah, that's gotta feel really good.
Yeah, he got
Now
a
you're
better
feeling a
shield,
bit-
he got a Pro Ring, he got the Vorpal. There's a lot there.
Feeling stronger. So what would you do if you were Rumblefish at this point? Would you proceed down and maybe do an EXP grind and kill carry?
With that dragon armor, I'm now feeling all the more confident, so yeah. You don't need a lot of levels here with Masamune in particular, and some temper charges. Even level 12 is probably going to be sufficient to carry. So that's not hard at all to get out of here. Needs to use the lit spells, not fire or... Chat wonders why Masamune is so hard to pronounce, because we're not Japanese.
And Caleb makes a dive into Ice Cave. He's going after the incentivized items.
Hard to disagree. You know that you're almost certainly going to need it. In fact, at this point, we know we found the ruby and the ribbon, which basically means unless somehow one of the other incentive locations led to a cabin, they're all going to be required. Because we also have tails, so there's no unrequired items left to be in the pool.
Right. You have to visit Ordeals, you have to visit Ice Cave.
So I said with Masamune, I'd probably feel confident with carry around level 12, and Rumble has already gotten up to level 11. Would like to see him walk it out, refill those spell charges, save all that good stuff he found.
Looks like that's what he's gonna do.
Actually, he's gonna leave completely. He's got enough money now he could stack up his items if he didn't do that yet. Well, you sold one gold bracelet early, and now you have enough money to buy two. I call that a good exchange. Ice Cave has given Caleb some business here, but only level 8 doing this, which is pretty low. Granted, with the Masamune, you're going to be able to kill a lot of things, but you're also going to take a lot of punishment. I'm wondering if he's either intentionally or unintentionally thinking about doing two-man strats.
Oh, and there's Cremate.
That's gonna hurt at the low levels, especially without the defense. Ooh, that is a really low heal potion count to try and do this on.
He might intentionally be trying to do a two-man strat.
It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. This is not a great magic seed, so you're really not missing out on a lot by only having one caster.
Yeah, he had mentioned that he'd been practicing with 2- and 3-man strats if magic wasn't good.
Not seen Elfland yet, but we're firmly in that category from what we have seen. Especially knowing Nuke is off the table. Okay, this is where I think he needs to make a really hard choice. And he needs to skip all the trap tiles. So there's the Frost Dragons, the two that are to the left of here. There's also the Frost Wolves to the south. But he just doesn't have enough heal potions. So any chance of getting out of here alive meant skipping those chests. Well, this is a play that's going to work out great for him. He got killed, now he's going to get to the armory and be well rewarded. Speaking of well rewarded, a ribbon, a white shirt. This is a very stacked volcano for treasure. Question in chat, have we seen Onrak? I actually think we did pretty early. Oh, the defense sword on top of everything! How much good stuff have we seen here, Twitch?
This is an incredible volcano. I would feel very good after coming through here.
So we've seen Gaia not Onrak, but that's only one of 2 remaining locations. And I think Rumble is actually set up a little better to finish this from here than Caleb is, because he stopped and he bought all those heal potions. Caleb still has just the, 11.
Rumblefish picks up an opal gauntlet too.
Z-Man says, imagine running 2 fighters with good stuff. Masa and Excal would feel great. We've got Vorpal and defense. You can run those on the red mages. But I think with Caleb's 2-mans, the Masa and the Vorpal is a great way to go. As he now picks up that Vorpal, but we knew it was incoming. Well, he may have just changed strategies because of finding that Vorpal. Now he's changed his alignment to look like he's gonna 3-man part of this.
I imagine he'd be a bit more comfortable with that.
Setting up a little better here. The Pro Ring is superior to the Opal Gauntlet just because of the protections it gives.
So after a volcano, do you keep checking chests? I mean, considering all of the great things we have, and then we can buy gold rings on the overworld.
The thing about it is that we're still very likely looking for a loose item.
Well, you have Ordeals, you have Ice Cave, and Waterfall. And you're looking for the Rod and the Loot. Oh, and the Chime.
Well, you make a good point. That's why it's good to hit up the incentive locations. I can't necessarily keep that count as specific as I would like, so hit them early and often. Chad would like to know why Caleb keeps flipping his party selection. It seemed like he wanted to go with just the 2 party members for a while there, but once he found the Vorpal, he said, that's enough swords that I'll keep running with 3 people instead of 2. So I really think just that one sword changed his mind. At least for now.
What would you do in Caleb's shoes? Would you run a 2 or a 3?
Well, first of all, I'd probably be really uncomfortable till I got back to my own shoes, but that is... You gotta commit to the bid. If you come in wanting to run 2-man, sell out for it. Go for the 2-man. I don't think a sword is enough reason to switch to 3-man. Now, if you're more comfortable running a 3-man strat, do that. You gotta be comfortable with whatever strat you're doing.
Oh, and a Sun Sword.
Yeah, it's an amazing early game find, but this just happens to be the one where it's worthless to us. Alright, you're getting ready for the fight against Carrie if you're in Rumble's position. What do?
Let's have a punch party. By that I mean sword party.
You gonna use that defense early? You gonna go straight out swinging with throwing the tempers on?
Aw, tempering the Mazza and swing for the hills.
Well, you won't have to worry about it anymore, because 1 was enough. And that is our first orb at the 45-minute mark for Rumblefish.
So what's your play for Rumblefish after this?
Now I love going to the Ice Cave. He's so much better set up for it than he was 5 minutes ago. And you've got that incentive item that's close by.
Hey, you're right there, you might as well.
The only reason I didn't like it on Caleb's side is that he was level 8. And he didn't have a ton of gear for doing it either. Assuming he full clears this volcano, that Ice Cave will probably turn around and be a breeze. And I don't disagree with him leaving just because he didn't have the cure potions to full clear volcano. He's only got 11. That's not going to heal you from the lava.
And without White Mage and some serious healing spells.
Sandworm's a very experience-rich encounter. Rumble, this is not going to quite work out for you.
Rumblefish is going to our deals.
No, he's not. He just wanted to.
Just kidding.
He will not get there without the canoe. He also can't get into the Onrak entrance. He can walk down to Lefane. Hopefully finds Elfland there for some magic. Okay. So there's the thing. When you were listing off required items, you didn't list canoe. And considering we have to get to the incentive item,
that's true.
Deals, and it can't be the canoe. I thought we were still looking for one loose.
That's true. Open world is just too open. But not open enough.
Okay. Interesting play on Caleb's side. He has looked at this puzzle and said, Onrak.
I was just considering if anyone would do that.
Meanwhile, Rumble should have no trouble now getting through this marsh cave. It's ugly at low levels. It's usually trivial level 10 plus, so 15, his party should just mow through it.
What if Canoe is behind Waterfall? No, it can't be.
Can't be.
That's...
No, at this point, it's it's most likely either Ice Cave or Marsh Cave. Or a fetch quest that starts in one of those. Could also be a loose item in the world, but... Oh, Power Gauntlet in Marsh Cave, a fantastic find. Light Axe ain't too bad either.
I swear it's predisposed to be at that chest. I've found it there more than once.
We've got Warp at level 3. Onrak does turn out to be Elfland, so the magic is here. And with class change, you won't have to come back. Life and Cure 3, that's pretty good level 3. Did he learn it on the night? You need to learn Life on that night. Assuming you can.
I don't think he did.
Wall at level 4 is a good find. And we have the loot. So very required, just not at this exact moment. Brack, Lit 3, and Fire 3 at level 4.
Z-Man points out that his knight knows Life too. Or, likely does. I think I remember him going back to Corneria and picking that up.
I've never complained about having both Life and Life 2 in my spell inventory for a night. Just saying. And Rumble has successfully gotten down to just the 3-man he wanted to be at. Those are some very expensive pro rings. I usually like to buy 2, but that's just not in the cards today, unless you've got something you can sell. You have that opal shield still. There are 3 of them loose in the world, so I figure on average you're gonna find 2 of them. Scorpions with Toxic, and this is why low-level Marsh stinks.
Oh.
Higher level Marsh, and your Red Mage survives with that ribbon, and you just cast Life 2, and it's like nothing happened. Ice 2 comes out for just chip damage on your whole party instead of destroying you. That is the difference in a low-level Marsh and getting your levels up. Otherwise, that back-to-back encounter certainly would have wiped out a level 5 party. We can't go into Mirage without the Chime. We have the Oxyel, so you can go into Sea Shrine.
Rumblefish is about to get his level 3 and 4 magic.
And Caleb is right in the neighborhood of the Ice Cave. Does he make that play? Well, looks like he's going Marsh first. So what do you think? It's a 50-50 shot, but this is the lower level dungeon.
I like the call, especially because the Canoe could be here. Easy to get to, it's incentivized.
Yeah, when you have that 50-50 shot, I love the play of the easier dungeon first. Get the faster check done, then go to... That's what it takes. Rumble, meanwhile, has gotten up to level 16, so his level's getting up there now. Power Gauntlet going to be a little lower on the defense side than the Opal Gauntlet is, but of course the handy side effect of casting Saber. Alright, Rumble, you're here. You've got enough levels to make a play out of this. You going for Kraken? We're gonna move on. I think with the swords I'd like the Kraken play. The only bad side is no Brack. Brack will give you enough confidence that you really don't have to worry about your levels here.
You have to worry about
swords.
getting there.
Yeah. That is a good point.
That's not always fun. Especially with unrunnable sags formations.
Always gonna be unrunnable as Caleb finds the loot. So while we have a moment here, we'll go ahead and throw the links out there in the Twitch chat that you can follow our runners, as thanks for putting on a show for you. You've also got links to the staff of this race if you're so inclined. Thank you, Captain Nerd, for being our tracker today. Trackers make the world go round, along with race streamers. So thank you to him. Thank you also to Speed Gaming for hosting this afternoon. Trance coming out from the Sea Snakes. That could make for an unpleasant Temple of Fiends Revisited. Another side effect of the higher level Marsh Dive. Maybe you have Warper Exit and you get out of here that much faster. The other thing I noticed Caleb hasn't done yet is he hasn't done the fetch quest leading from that crystal yet.
I was just considering that. If he's forgotten about it and finds all of his required items, it will be of benefit to him not to do any more of that.
Some ice armor in the Sea Shrine. I like to call these Go Mode chests because you'll almost inevitably check them in Go Mode. They cost you, I think, 2 steps to get both of these. Because you have to go 1 extra step to the north and 1 extra step to the west. Blizzard coming out from the Sea Snakes. Well, Caleb was back to 2-man whether he wanted to or not.
He must want to. He has life charges.
Yeah, he has life too. He could bring back the other red mage easily. Biggest thing 2-man does for you, if you've got the ability to kill things, and he certainly does, that puts more experience and more levels on that Masamune wielding knight. So hopefully you get a stronger, more durable knight in Temple of Fiends Revisited, and makes it that much easier to one-shot it. Especially easier if it's a hard Temple of Fiends Revisited.
For the long walk through sky or water.
Rumble's still checking these chests. He does not have the Mystic Key, so there'll be 1 on this floor he cannot check. Here come the ghosts. They're one of the enemies that'll scare you. They have some of the highest attack in the game. There's no need to fear. We infectious Will Cleos is here. Hey, Will. Oh, the eye has poison.
Oh no. There goes his dream of a grind.
Did he not have... Well, he doesn't have a ribbon, okay. That's why he doesn't have a ribbon on the Red Wizard, because he doesn't have a ribbon. Well, this is a very tough spot to be in, actually. I didn't see how many heal potions he has. But you kind of can't afford to take levels against the eye, which he may have been considering doing. But it's also really hard to walk out of here with a lower level knight. He's in pretty good position with the dragon armor. He'll resist the elemental stuff. And with Mausa, he should be able to kill most things. His biggest concern would be a pack of frost wolves doing something unpleasant. His second biggest concern would be running out of heal potions.
Does he have a ribbon on the knight?
He doesn't have a ribbon. He didn't do the fetch quest to get one.
There were two. Was the other one in Volcano? Or the other one was in Volcano, wasn't it?
He did not full clear Volcano.
Right.
He
only went through
area. Yeah, it was up in the Grey Worm room. Chad asks, are you sure he's not doing one-man strats? Actually, he might be, because I think he does have charges on the night, and he's just making the call that this ice cave hasn't been too hard.
Yeah,
but I also don't think he has the ability to heal after bringing somebody back.
He took both Blue Dragon fights.
Yeah. Masa will kill a lot of things, so if it's just one or two targets, that's not nearly as worrying as, say, what just wiped Rumble with the sea snakes, where you got 6 of them
Rumble.
has a blizzard on you. That's what you're worried about in this scene, as he gets the multiple wizards who have stun touch. So this is the nightmare encounter, Caleb. Yeah, they're only doing 2 damage at a time, but do they have something else nasty that's going to come out? And they can kill you 2 damage at a time. He actually needs to throw the defense sword up. What I want to do here is throw the defense sword up, get it up 3 times, and you're at max evade, and that reduces the chance of them paralyzing. So throw it out, hope for good turn order. That's what I'd like here. This is the embodiment of chip damage, and he resets. I don't disagree either, because they could just keep you perpetually stun-locked and kill you 2 damage at a time, which takes forever.
That's gotta feel so bad.
Now, it feels like a big loss, but at the same time, he doesn't have to recheck things. So he's going to go through here much faster. He might not even see that encounter again, actually, because it'll be on a different encounter cycle.
Alright, he'll just grab the rod and take off.
This was a game where the flutter was early. You walked over to Provoca, it was Provoca, and for sale for about 10,000 gold when our runners didn't have that much. They eventually both opted to sell an early gold bracelet that was found in a treasure chest in exchange for enough money to buy that flutter and get into the skies. It opened up this seed for them since. And Chad asks if Caleb is going to go for Night Grind. Absolutely not, because the eye has damage for it. So you will absolutely not grind eye for experience today. Now, if you had the ribbon, which he doesn't because he didn't do that fetch quest earlier, then you still could because it would only be chip damage. But he does have warp. He didn't do this play earlier. In fact, he could just get out of here, I think, or at least get close. Oh my! Did you just see what I just saw?
Oh, there it is.
A loose canoe, and in the sea shrine. did not expect that, but I guess it actually makes sense once we saw the rod over Ice Cave, because that knocked it out of any potential incentive locations. But for it to be there,
Must not be a very canoe. It's under the or a very good canoe because it's under the water. How's that gonna help?
I don't know, but try drying it out first to see how that goes. So the other thing is, this will let Rumblefish get to Castle Ordeals before Caleb can, and he can get to the waterfall, so he has the potential for go mode much earlier. Yeah, it looks like Caleb is trying to go back to the two-man strats. We haven't seen a lot of it in this tournament.
If you're Rumblefish, how do you feel at this point?
The loose canoe is reason to feel really good. The constant dying is reason to feel very bad.
Snakes and trolls. Well, snakes. But I mean, how do you feel about your position? Do you feel like you've been behind because, you know, the canoe is locked so far back, or do you feel like your opponent might have followed a similar path and you might be ahead?
So, one of the things I'm trying to worry about is more how I'm doing things. I'm not always great at that, but I feel like Sea Shrine was a gamble before finishing off the incentive locations, because Rumble hasn't been through ice yet. That part of this equation has to... The bad part is how much time he's losing to these deaths. He's had a couple here, and he still has to get through Kraken here, which is not a trivial matter.
Caleb's got his rod and he's out.
Now, here's the bad side for Caleb is he almost has too many options, but he's probably going to go mode things if he realizes that he's got the crystal chain ahead of him. Until he sees that ribbon, he doesn't really have a reason to not in go mode. And this could be a costly go mode, actually, because this was a very rewarding volcano. He already checked the armory area, but what did we see elsewise in here?
Was there a ribbon on the... what is it? 4th floor?
A ribbon and a white shirt. So, a lot of good that could be found here. Rumblefish is up to Kraken. Doing some party rearrangement, I like that. Protect the knight and the damage. Caleb's still checking through this volcano. When you've got a couple casters of temper feeding into that Musmian, you get it up pretty fast. The worry is if Kraken's able to do enough damage to take the knight out. Yeah. It can be misleading when he pounds a mage because of the amount of defense.
Right, he's got the opal shield and... or no, does he have an opal shield on the knight?
I think he does with the dragon armor, and he's able to get through. That worked out just well enough. Rumblefish is out of there with an orb.
A second orb lit at 107.
He's also got enough levels now that he should be able to do the other dungeons pretty routinely. Getting over that initial hump, if you will, makes a big difference.
So at this point, Rumblefish has to do Ice Cave to get the rod, and he can get the... Oh, after that he's done. Oh no, he's got to get the chime, and that's in Waterfall probably.
Very likely. And Caleb really needs some healing here. There we go. I'm not sure he ever stocked up on heal potions. That could be problematic.
He did, I failed to notice. Rumblefish is going back into Sea Shrine? Is he gonna check the mermaids? Nope, he's leaving.
Is almost done with this volcano. What are the Agamas like? They're a little high on their HP, actually. And their absorb. And maybe even their evade. So they're not that friendly today. Over 300 HP doesn't feel great. It's up to level 17 now. That's where you're really starting to see the dividends of the two-man pay off. The goal is get higher levels on those two, so now you're getting close to endgame levels, and he still has Sky and Sea to go through. So he's going to be at a much higher level for those two dungeons, making them much easier. Rumblefish, meanwhile, has made more progress in terms of the key items, especially because he found that loose canoe in Sharknado Room in the Sea Shrine. Which, by the way, we got into a discussion the other day about why we call that Sharknado Room. And more than anything, it's just because it's handy to have labels on these locations so we can reference them easily.
Instead of that one room over there on the other side. No, the other side.
Yeah, well, if somebody says to you, 3rd floor of Sea Shrine, do you have any idea what they're talking about?
Nope.
Exactly. But they say Sharknado, and you know exactly where we're talking about.
And that's why we need labels.
Labels make the world go round, along with trackers and restreamers. Here's Carrie. Only 51 damage. I'd go pure offense now. Does not have temper on the Red Wizard. I'd like to see him change that. And Carrie is terminated. So just a few matches left. This is a busy day. But after today, just a couple matches left in the Swiss rounds for this spring tournament. Next weekend is gonna be loaded. We will have the last chance qualifier on Saturday. The winner of that gets into the play-in race. And we will take as many from there as are necessary to fill out the brackets. I'm not sure what that number works out to be, and I don't think we actually know until Sunday. I think we have to do the Shadow Walker match before we know for sure. There we go. I said I wanted to see Caleb pick up temper. Rumblefish is in the waterfall. This should lead to go mode. Question in chat. No one is 5-0. We do have one 5-0 in Crab Cakes, and we have the potential for one more 5-0 on Sunday. So we'll either have two 5-0s or several 4-1s. Well, we have several 4-1s anyways. But you can see the standings as they are on the website currently. Yeah, it's One Fine Day is currently 4-0, trying to be 5-0 by defeating Shadowwalk. That's got the potential to be an epic match. Those are two very, very capable runners. And a lot to play for there. Because the other thing is without a second 5-0, some kind of tiebreaker has to come in for the bye week. And I don't know offhand what the rules say about that. Caleb is in Earth Cave. He is not in Go mode, but does he play it as if he is?
Still doesn't know where his canoe is.
You know, I gotta think at this point he's forgotten the crystal.
I think so too. Like I said, that might be to his benefit. Until he opens up his inventory and sees it and has to go back and do it all.
And the Mystic Key. It is required. And here in the waterfall. Chad asks who in the tourney has the best time in vanilla. That is a very interesting question. I do not actually know the answer. We don't have a lot of people who speed run it. In particular, the question would be related to the NES version. That is an interesting question. I'm kind of curious to look that up once we're done. There's a lot of experience in playing the vanilla game in this tournament, but not necessarily a lot of speedrun experience itself. Some flame armor is not what Caleb was looking for. Best he's gonna find at this point is the third ribbon. Alright, Caleb continues to dive this Earth Cave. Chat says, maybe the runners can't bear the play vanilla with its slow walking. It is hard to go back. I don't think I have played vanilla since getting hooked up on the Randomizer's convenience. I have been meaning to go back and play vanilla with the conveniences. But I haven't gotten around to that yet. Geyer is probably the only one who routinely goes back and... Okay, so I have my answer. Among everyone in this tournament, the best time on the board for NES Final Fantasy belongs to Tyrannex. He's currently 9th on the speedrun.com leaderboard. So, there you go. That was the question Chad answered. I was fascinated by the answer. It is actually Tyrannex who has logged the best time. Now, Rumblefish is in Castle Ordeals. Chat says gotta get Fiesel into a tournament. You know, he's a busy guy. We love him. We'd love to get him in here one of these days. But he is a very busy guy, and we respect that.
So you were talking a bit about standings earlier. We have a potential, or someone's walking away with 4-1 at 9 o'clock between Crystal and Falconic.
The question was asked who had the fastest vanilla time among all the tournament entrants, and as far as the NES version goes, that is currently Tyrannex, and he defeated me most recently to be 3-2 in the Swiss rounds. Alright, Caleb working through the Earth Cave as Rumble does castle ordeals. The bad news for Caleb is he's doing a lot of checks that just don't really have any way to pay off. They're not going to be the item he needs, and the luxury items are all pretty well off the board except that last ribbon.
Yeah, Rumble's not gonna have to check any of this.
Yeah, that'll definitely speed up your path through here. I think when paths converge, we're going to see Rumblefish get into Temple of Fiends Revisited first because of the routing. The advantage for Caleb is he'll be at a much higher level, and we will see if we get a difficult Temple of Fiends and that pays off. There's the chime. Rumble still needs the rod, though. Still lacking that for actual go mode. That
Still has to run through Ice Cave.
Yeah, which should be pretty quick at this point. Thor's Hammer is a good little utility item. Also, we went by the vampire so fast, I forgot to say hi and bye to the vampire. Rumble has put the pieces together and is going to the ice cave. And shouldn't have any trouble at these levels in a couple ribbons.
Think he's gonna pick anything up along the way?
There's stuff that's just so convenient on the way. But if he's got enough charges of warp, I imagine he's gonna get the 3 in the floater room and then just leave. Stacking the Thor's Hammer and Light Axe to be able to one round all those undead. Especially because they're unrunnable, that helps. Rumble has had the 3-man party most of this game, so getting an experience bonus for that as well. This is going to be very good levels for his party by the time he goes into Temple of Fiends Revisited. I think he'll be close to mid-20s. Alright, here goes Rumblefish. This is the room that has the rod that puts the runner in go mode. Pick up those other 2 because you're standing right here, and throw enough warps to get out of here. There you go. No reason to spend extra time there. Now he needs to clear Sky and Earth. Don't think it really matters what order he does them in. I'd prefer Sky and have the higher levels for Earth because there's more chance of stuff running away from you and speeding things up.
That looks like that's what he's gonna do.
Lich 1 about to go down. Where do you think Caleb goes from here?
I think he has to go to C. I mean, he doesn't have the chime, he can't go to Sky, can't go to Ordeals. What's left?
Well, what's left is the crystal if he can put that piece of the puzzle together. Good news is the canoe is there, so that's what he needs for go mode. And the sooner he can get that, the better. Fish now in Sky Castle. Looks like go mode all the way.
Blazing through.
A lot of these floors are really quick when you don't have to go exploring. This star floor is a great example. It's a very short walk, and all you gotta do is go from point A to point B.
Sometimes between point A and B is a war mech. You know, just saying.
Well, not on this floor, it's not.
No, on the Bridge of Destiny.
Indeed. You always know it's possible.
Looks like Caleb is Team Steak. Here he's finally going to pick up some healing potions that he's desperately going to need to get through those sea snakes. He can make up a little bit of time on Rumblefish if he doesn't take a couple of wipes to them. Rumblefish is just about at Tiamat, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a Warmech sighting on Rumblefish's side today. There's always hope for Caleb's side, though. Caleb's actually checking the often forgotten single chest on first floor C. Rumblefish is here at Tiamat.
A lot of ways you can kill Tiamat. Brack is certainly one of them, and it does the job.
That's always satisfying.
Now, Rumble just needs one more orb, and its trip into Temple of Fiends revisited, in very good position at this point. You know, it felt like the early game favored Caleb, but in particular it seems like not following the path of the crystal has benefited Rumblefish. Although, we will see how Caleb reacts to getting it, because now if he go modes that, the only thing it would cost him is a ribbon. This should be a pretty compelling time for Rumblefish getting into Temple of Fiends. Caleb, at the least, has to go to Ordeals and Water.
He can find his canoe and take out Carrie, but he's still got a bit more to go.
To level 22 now. That's pretty comparable to what Rumblefish is, except across the 3 party members instead of 2.
So what levels do you go in with a 2-man party into Temple of Fiends?
With 2-man, I'm trying to go in at the 30s. Something like 30, 32, and then the goal is get 34 before Kraken 2. If you're going to do that, you want to be overpowered. You want to just destroy everything the first time you're up against it, even if it's hard, so that if your opponent is struggling against something, you're breaking through instead. The worst thing is to be behind your opponent doing the same thing they're doing.
Caleb was just having some struggles with the sea snakes and trolls.
Yeah, we saw them fire off a bunch of blizzards. He's only got the 1 ribbon, but I assume that's on the red wizard while dragon armor's on the knight. So as far as elemental spells goes, he's in pretty good shape. Rumble was doing that. I don't even know if he had a ribbon. I think he only had 1. Should be go-moding this floor.
Yeah, Rumblefish is in go mode all the way. He's ready to put a nail in the coffin.
Here comes the biggest moment of the game now for Caleb. He's about to find the canoe here. This is what really set this seed apart for Rumblefish. He came to an early sea shrine. He got into this room and found the canoe. He was able to go mode so much faster than Caleb, but because of that, Caleb had to full clear Earth Cave looking for his loose item.
There it is.
He made a change here against this formation. Tried to run earlier, and then that time he 1 rounds the kills. That's the play you want to make if you're 2-manning. You're trying to get through encounters as quickly as possible. So, if you're able to 1-round stuff, you're going to be faster to do that than failing runs.
Right. Hey Drayon, Mom's not dead. Just taking a nap.
Yeah, we're giving her the day off.
It's Mother's Day. Let her rest.
Those dishes will still be in the sink tomorrow. That's a joke I heard.
That's terrible.
Kid walks up to his mom and says, "No, Mom, it's Mother's Day. You don't have to do that. They'll still be there tomorrow." Rumblefish versus Lich 1. Yeah, this is gonna be a breeze when you can do 700 damage in a hit.
Hi, Lich. Nice not knowing you. Maybe see you later.
Right, Caleb's at 24 before Kraken. That's very good because he'll get the extra Moss Immune swing. Rumblefish stacking up on items before going in. Temple of Fiends 3. You do not want to be short on heal potions around time to Tiamat's floor. 730 damage and Crack is terminated. And 132, Rumblefish enters Temple of Fiends Revisited. I like how he played it. Off a hard reset, there was that first encounter, and instead of burning that on the overworld and then wasting the good walk in Temple of Fiends, he walked right in, took an encounter that was just bones, and then got up to the Black Crystal and the Time Warp without wasting the extra walk steps.
Veteran move.
Indeed. Caleb is on his way to Castle Ordeals. I really think he's going to need a Rumblefish. Well, I know he's going to need a Rumblefish wipe. I'm wondering if it's going to take 2 now to give him a chance to catch up. It's not all bad though, because his strategy is built with 2-man on getting through a harder Temple of Fiends than the opponent can.
I think it'll take Rumblefish getting all the way to Tia and wiping at least once, if not all the way to Chaos and wiping.
Some worms. And we've got swords for days. We found Whirlpool, we found Excalibur, we found Defense, we found Sun, we found Master. We found everything. We also find that Medusas have status. So, that's not great. But the ribbons should keep him protected.
We also found the Vendor Sword, too.
Dare I ask?
The Katana.
Ah, good call.
Like, swords all day.
You want swords? We got swords. Now Rumblefish is about up to Lich 2. The unrunnable encounters was something that was shuffled more recently. I think it's about a year old as an option. And one of the great things that was added with that was the changing of the run command to be wait if you're in an unrunnable, because otherwise you could just be failing runs and not knowing. But that does make it a lot better even for newer players coming into the community who don't have to learn the old unrunnable thing. So even if they're not shuffled, just having that feature is better. All of a sudden, Gary's a statue. Those mummies are quite rude. Only 3 softs, but that's not bad. You never need that many. If you're 2-man stratting, if you need more than 1, you're in trouble.
Right.
But
There's a joke to be made about mummies and his mum being down.
Meanwhile, Rumble is on carry. And a pro cape, so a little more defense for the red mage. And has the chime. So that should still leave him needing the key, which I believe was the robot item?
Yes. That was in Waterfall.
Taking a lot of time to set up what he wants in this carry fight, who apparently has really high evade. Only getting 1 hit. If he gets through. That was an interesting carry.
A sign of things to come, maybe?
We shall see. I mean, if you think about if you expect a fiend to be easier or harder than vanilla, you've got 5 of them here. So, on average, you're expecting two of them to, in some form or fashion, be harder. Split 2 to get past the Sahags. And there's Rumblefish getting through that fight and up to level 25. It's a very good level to be at this point. Life 2 also shows why it's the best healing spell in the game. It always does 1 more HP than Cure 4. And we are about to see what Kraken 2 is made of. Any predictions?
I'm saying this is going to be a rough Kraken.
Physical hits, you think we're going to see a nuke?
High absorb, some nukes.
Well, we gotta get past the waters first, and they're giving Rumblefish the business right now. He's in rough shape. He needs an Ice 3
Oh,
here,
boy.
but he has it or nuke. So, bad position to be in all the way around. If you got the defense sword, you can start throwing that up right now, and their chip damage isn't going to kill you. But then you could buy yourself time to run away. And there he's away. Able to revive most of his party. Caleb got the key and go-moded. So he will miss out on a second ribbon, which is going to feel a little bad. And here we go. Kraken 2. Tempers the evasion, the fast. And Tornado fires off first round. It is not a high absorbed Kraken though. Modest evade. Temper charges should be enough. Does Kraken do round 2? Does Kraken have a round 2? We didn't really need that red mage anyways. And that's all for Kraken. That was pretty
Beautiful.
mild. In Life 2, it's like nothing even happened. Caleb working through Mirage Tower. As Rumble works through the Sky Floor, Temple of Fiends revisited. 2 Fiends stand between Rumblefish and Last Chance Qualifier.
There's a nice parody there.
He's set up for it because he didn't change his party back after Kraken 2. And here we go. He's got enough HP that even if Tia throws a nuke out here, you're not that scared of that. The concern would be a high HP Tia who does nuke and then say a nuclear or swirl right after. That would knock out all your mages.
He's got 1 rounds of buffs out.
Getting all the evasion up, and it looks like that's good enough that Tia's not doing much now. The damage is good from Masa. If you're doing 300 damage, then Tia's not surviving more than 4 turns. Rack's not great here. It's only 3 and 256. Nuke would knock out 2 of his mages now. But Let and Live would survive. This is a punch-happy Tiamat, though, with a lot of hit points. Over 1,100 hit points on this Tiamat. But can't have much more. Honestly, a Quad X would be a good call, if you have it. I think it was on the same level as Fast, though. 300 damage enough to finish the job. And here we go. It's Rumblefish versus Chaos. A trip to the last chance qualifier. It's on the line. The tournament is going to continue for at least one more week for one of these runners. It is Rumblefish's to win. Caleb needs this to be a really hard Chaos that gives him a chance to get there with a lot more firepower.
We didn't see any of the nastier spells out of the other fiends, did we? Because that means
Tornado was the worst.
Or, Chaos can still have them.
Yeah, Chaos could still have 3 nukes, and 2 of them coming out would be devastating to this party. Chance to get all the tempers up is big, though. The more turns he gives you to do that, the more damage output is just not going to care with Chaos. I've come the Invis 2s again, continuing to build that evasion. Chaos is given a lot of free turns. It's a low evade Chaos. 10 hits from the Masa. There's Nuke! 1 mage down, 2 mages down. Still has the 2 most important ones alive, still throwing the buffs in there. 1,500 damage! And Rumblefish picks up that win.
GG Rumblefish.
The nuke was big. It could have been absolutely devastating, but Chaos didn't have enough HP to follow up after that. And he didn't have enough evade because Rumble was just landing a ton of hits. So with more hits comes more crits. And 1,500 damage is a lot of crit power. And hopefully Rumblefish gonna join us here shortly.
Meantime, Caleb's finishing up Tiamat.
And able to go straight to Temple of Fiends Revisited here, so I think we'll see Caleb go and finish this out. With that Temple of Fiends we saw, I can't imagine he doesn't just breeze through it. And there it is, Rumblefish. GG.
Thank you
GG
so much.
Rumblefish.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I thought that was a pretty good time, actually. The seed was not very cooperative in many times, and I thought that getting under... my time was pretty good.
So you had a little bit of trouble early with that sea shrine, but then you got the payoff and you found the canoe. How did that moment?
Well, that was really vindicating because, it made sense for me to, keep trying for the sea shrine again. For I had that really nasty and very unfair wipe. I mean, my party was basically full strength going into that tile, and through a combination of sleep touch and blizzards and stun touch. I mean, they had like everything basically in that seafood platter. And that was really unfair that I had that wipe. But I did have the wipe, and it cost me a little bit, but the fact that I found the canoe was good. I did not try that chest again. I thought that, just be the definition of insanity to try the same thing over again. So I'm glad that there was something else so important in that chest. Or at least I don't think there was.
How'd you feel about the very beginning of the seed?
Well, it was really challenging because there were no AoE spells right off the bat in Corneria. So there was a rub spell, but that's like the weakest of the one-hit spells. I mean, it's just kind of iffy. And remember, I ended up using both of my charges on Garland for it to take him out. So I didn't go through I never even found out what any of the chests were in Temple of Fiends. Just went straight to Garland, and so eventually that paid off. I mean, it could have been bad if that was something that was important. But luckily, I was able to make it through without those chests. So, and then like as I'm trying to, as you saw, trying to go through Travolta, I ended up having to basically, in order to survive, had to temper up a bare-knuckled knight to get him, through a pack of wolves. I thought I was gonna wipe on there, but that was what I needed. So, I mean, it was pretty hard getting things going at first, definitely.
That was a pretty epic win against the wolves.
So another week of this tournament for you. Without giving away necessarily your strategy for it, what kind of things will you do to prepare for the last chance qualifier? Anything?
It's pretty much going to be the same thing, I would think. Just because it is the same flags and the same concept, right? There's one force class, one band class. So I guess it's mostly going to have to. I'm going to chill for a day because I've been trying to get ready for this race. But then I'm going to have to see what's going on with the classes next time around. And so then I'll probably do some practice races. And I think there are 4 people who'll be in that last chance qualifier. I don't know. But maybe I'll get some practice races in with some of them and then for their real thing. I mean, there are a lot of people who are in my bracket. I think I'm the 3-2 bracket. And so... or 2 to 3, depending how you look at it. And so I think it should be a pretty intense race.
Well, there's always a chance to go further, so good luck with you. And any other thoughts on this one?
It was a pretty nasty seed, generally speaking. I mean, I kind of felt like the beginning was tough, and then the Sea Shrine was not fair. And I thought I was going to get like wipes. I thought I had a few close calls. I had that one wipe, but then Temple of Fiends Revisited, I nearly died to those waters who ganged up on me, and which would have been really sucky because it would have been so cheap. I think, and there were a couple other close calls that I nearly had too because of some of the surprises in the seed. So, but I think I got a pretty good time, so I'm pretty happy with it.
I gotta tell you, a wipe would have made this a really interesting race. Caleb just gets into Temple of Fiends Revisited, but he's at a much higher level now at 28-29 range. So he's gonna have a lot of firepower versus these fights and probably clear a bunch of them faster than you did.
That's definitely the more levels is always helpful.
I did want to go back to an early moment in this game. Was it a hard choice for you to sell that gold bracelet?
Oh, not really, because I know the gold bracelet would be found in a merchant shop some other point in the game. In fact, I was able to purchase one later on, so I just kind of felt like you had to, spend money to make money, or it's not exactly the right metaphor. But the point is, I knew that I was going to come back to me a lot, so I did sell the gold bracelet. At that point in the game, I thought I was behind, because when I found the floater was in Provoca, and then I was basically just trying to raise money for it. The Pencil of Power was not the right place for me. Outside of Provoca was not getting the level gold I wanted. And then I tried just forgetting about it and going to Marsh Cave. And then, of course, there was like the Thunder Arachnids and the Blizzard Ogres, I think it was. So that wasn't an option. And then I just said, okay, just see what's in Melmon. And then Melmon ended up being Melmon, and was able to get quite a bit of gold to a single fight, and then I could just sell the gold bracelet the other half. But that's kind of a long way to answer your question. No, I was not really all that. I mean, I'm glad I have the gold bracelet, because that made things a lot easier for me. I knew I was going to get the return later on because the gold bracelets are for sale someplace.
Yeah, and you were straight on with that thought process. Caleb also tried to do the Peninsula, any success there. But eventually you both got the money and both sold the gold bracelet to get that floater. The other interesting thing is you followed the quest chain, that long fetch quest that led to a ribbon, and Caleb actually never got that one in.
Oh wow, okay.
He still has the crystal in his inventory.
Interesting. Well, the ribbon was helpful, I guess. I mean, that was like how many hours? I forgot. Like how many items did I have to go through in order to get that ribbon? I mean,
All of the
No,
fetch
it's,
quest items.
All of them,
Yeah,
Well-
it was all of them.
yeah. Well, yeah, that was quite a long, chain to get something that wasn't all that, rewarding. But the ribbon, I guess, probably was helpful. I probably wouldn't even see what. I mean, I ended up when I had go mode, having that ribbon was a lot helpful. So I knew I didn't have to keep checking chests. So it did have its benefit, but
Well, by contrast, Caleb only found the one ribbon in Kano, so you didn't miss out on an easy one.
yeah. So it was helpful at the end of the day to go. I mean, with the whole chain, it was a long chain.
Right now onto the water floor. Good progress through here. Does he run into those same pursuit? I also loved how you did that reset before Temple of Fiends and then took the first fight in normal Temple of Fiends. As opposed to wasting the steps on the second one.
That was an accident, but that's actually really, in hindsight, that was actually a very clever thing for me to do. I don't know why, I just kind of reset out of a habit or something, but I'm thinking about it, because that in the RNG, the first fight comes relatively soon, and then there's a break, right? So yeah, that probably ended up working well for me, but that was completely by accident.
Well, happy accident then. Caleb just leveled up some of his people a bunch, getting up 14 now. And he is on to the Kraken fight. We didn't really see anything too scary. I believe Kraken fired off Tornado. I'm not even sure he'll live long enough to do that against Caleb. I would like to see him move that Masamune over to the Knight before this fight, but he is actually swinging with Wraith, so there's still an advantage in that. Kraken does get Tornado off. Always gotta make a liar out of me, don't you? Chat would like to know if you rap in your free time. People can really articulate quick. I think I caught him off guard with that question.
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up there. You asking me a question?
Chat asks if you rap in your free time. Dude can articulate quick.
I actually do not rap. I'll take that as a compliment, though, that I can articulate quick, but no, I do not rap in my spare time.
Should give Rap God a shot sometime.
Alright, here's Tiamat. Kind of running low on the temper charges there, but those mages are probably, you're not expecting him to live 2 rounds against Chaos, so don't disagree.
No.
That was a really weak hitting Tiamat. I don't like using your last temper there. Save that one.
So we head into the Chaos fight. I really love Caleb named one of his 4 characters after Mom, because that was what we decided on during his podcast this week. He invited me to name one of his characters, and in honor of Mother's Day, I decided that you should name one after his mother. So there it is.
Yep, and then he gave Mom a break. She didn't have to do any work in this save. Gets through. Actually, use that life spell too fast. Wait until you're on Chaos 4. Here we go. Quick work through this Temple of Fiends Revisited. We saw Rumble hit Chaos for over 1500 damage. Only 29 for the Knight, so didn't quite get to that 32 mark. Or it's 32 or 34 for the next Masa swing, but should still do an impressive amount of damage. Trying the expert strats.
Wouldn't that be
he did
something?
not move Masa. He's only got Excalibur on the Knight. So
That
bold
is
play.
doable,
He's
but
out
makes
of
things harder.
tempers.
Mm-mm.
He's out of tempers. he does actually have them on the night with Masa as Nuke comes out. Hurts his party a lot.
Oof.
I like
Yeah.
this. He needs to stack the tempers. That's the right reaction. Your knight's gonna survive another nuke. Your red mage isn't anyways.
There we go. GG.
Oh, he did have Cure. I did not see that. In that case, he could have saved Wraith for another turn, but maybe he's getting some revenge against Wraith. 700 damage. 900 damage. That's 1600 all told. And 1300. That's going to be over 3k. Yes, sorry TNT, you were off.
GG.
Caleb finishes with a sub 2 hour 158.26. Definitely a difference than a dungeon, because really a big part of this was Caleb full clearing Earth instead of the early Sea Shrine dive. He did have to go AFK real quick, but said he will join us, so we should hear from him soon. Twitch, any final thoughts on this one?
It was a very entertaining seed, and I want to thank Rumblefish and Caleb for putting on a nice show.
And there's Caleb. GG, you finished the sub 2 hour.
Hey, thanks, man. GG, Rumblefish.
GG, Caleb.
GG, Caleb.
So, Rumblefish, did you go into sea first? Is that what happened here?
Yeah, I think that's probably the secret to my success. I mean, that was an early sea dive. I had a nasty wipe there. I don't know how you fared off because of that on that seafood platter, those seafood platters and the sea shrine. But going to sea shrine first is definitely a way to pay off.
Yeah, once I found that canoe, I figured you either went the same way I did, and we were neck and neck, or you went here first, and I had wasted over like 20 minutes full clearing Earth and Volcano. But it was a fun seed though. Lots of gear.
All right.
Hey, Caleb.
Well, I don't want to cut you short, but at the same time, we do have the next race, and it's coming up right here. So let me go ahead and ask you if you have any final thoughts, Caleb, and we'll just give you an open platform.
It was a fun seed. This is a fun tournament. I'm glad I got to participate. I'm glad I got to meet everybody that I raced against and got to know them before we actually competed against one another. I feel like I've made some quality relationships in this community through this tournament, and I couldn't be happier with my decision to join this community. It's been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you, Trenton. Thank you, Twitch and Chilled, for doing the comms. Thank you for doing who's doing the tracking? Is that Super Luigi?
Captain Nerd.
Captain Nerd. Thank you, Captain Nerd, for doing the tracking. Thank you, Will Cleosis, Woat, Rumblefish, Twitch and Chilled, and Lynn the Cat for being awesome competitors. And thank you to everybody out in the community, Falconic, Lord Fizzlebeef. You guys have taught me a lot and helped work with me. I'm looking forward to the co-op tournament with Hyro Fellows, my partner, and we're gonna hopefully be a little upset for some people.
All right, thank you very much to both of you. Yeah, it gave us a lot of fun to watch. And up next, we have DD Gaming's versus Kyu Kitsuki. Hope you'll stick around for that. Thank you to all of you who joined us this afternoon, and hope you have a great rest of the day.
Have a good night.